We about to open up a whole can of primatology discussion. So sit your candy ass down, because it's monkey time, bitch. Gorilla Radio. Turn that shit to a reasonable volume so as to be considerate of others.
Monkeys go directly to hell.
Hello, welcome to episode 55 of Gorilla Radio Show. As always, it's
Stop that
your
damn
boys.
clicking, boy. Stop that damn clicking.
That it's
You got
as
it, bro.
always,
You can
it's
always-
Greg playing Spore in the background, clicking
You
like
can,
crazy.
you'll always be able to edit that out.
It's so annoying.
Hold on, I have an idea. How's this? Can you hear it now?
Keep clicking.
I'm clicking.
Okay, we can
Rapid
hear it
fire.
then, yeah.
I can
Where-
hear it.
You can hear it?
Greg just put a big fucking beanie over his hand just to welcome everyone to episode 55. As always, we are your hosts, Austin, Chandran, and Greg.
Woo.
And this episode, we're going to be doing a little bit of a follow-up on our previous Vegas episode.
Why are we doing a follow-up on our previous Vegas episode?
Because we just got back from Vegas.
We just got back from fucking Las Vegas.
It's
Yup,
crazy.
Chandra
It's
broke their
crazy
leg.
how you're. How
I broke my
you're
leg.
Doing this right now.
Huh?
It's like you. It's like when we were sitting there next to the pool and we were drunk and we were like, let's sell out and make money. And now you did a professional ass intro. It only took us like 3 years.
Yeah,
to get through the whole intro without fucking it up.
I thought you were going to like fabricate a story about us like kissing with tongue at the pool.
Well, we
At the
did.
lake.
Do
we
that.
did do that, but that
Well,
was
yeah,
like,
I mean, that was
we
that was
did do
separate
that.
though.
yeah.
We weren't supposed
Well,
to
that
say
was-
that publicly.
Well, I mean, we have to tell them eventually.
Yeah.
Austin's pregnant. We don't know, but we don't know whose the father is yet. Me and Greg were in there
Damn.
all weekend.
Yeah,
Kim
that's
too.
So,
Austin
Last
is down
Vegas episode-
terrible.
oh yeah, no, don't even ask me how much I lost in Vegas.
Hey, what
I'll
was the
tell you.
total actually?
Yeah, it was
I-
just 300.
I lost, I think, like $340 in Las
That's
Vegas,
crazy. This
and
is
then
crazy.
I paid like $450 for my leg.
Well,
So,
it was either that or have no leg, I guess.
I
I
mean,
mean, you could just like not have a leg. By the
You could have
way,
let us bone saw it off.
yeah. By the way, they don't give you painkillers even if you break your leg in Vegas, is what we found out.
yeah,
Vegas, baby.
they gave me 200 milligrams or 400 milligrams of ibuprofen in the medical tent. And then when I was at the hospital or the EMTs, they never gave me any painkillers, anything at all.
Not even
I-
a single Tylenol.
I kept asking people like, hey, can I have some more Tylenol? Or can I have some Tylenol? Can I have some more ibuprofen? I only had 400 milligrams. I could probably have some more. It hurts really
Yeah, get the
bad.
Tylenol away, junkie.
And every single person I asked was like, yeah, you can get it when the doctor comes around. And then when I would ask the doctor, and the doctor didn't give it to me. And
That's
so,
And the doctor never came.
there was also, also, not to get too much into it. In the Vegas ER, the Vegas hospitals, there's so many people just dying. There's so many just like
yeah.
homeless people like dying of a drug overdose. There was
Yeah,
some.
I
there
mean,
was-
what else do you do in Vegas?
Right? Be homeless and die of a drug overdose.
That's all I know how to do.
Hey,
So-
luckily we did not need any Narcan this weekend, so good for us. We won.
Well, that's because we. Anyways. So,
That's because we died and we're in hell.
yeah. So, if you may recall, last year we talked about Jim Jones and his pet chimpanzee.
I'm gonna be
Mr.
honest with you.
Muggs.
I don't even recall this.
I
I was
vaguely
also
recall this.
So
You don't remember
drunk.
Mr. Muggs?
Oh, Mr. Mugg sounds familiar.
Yeah, he had him in a cage in Jonestown,
Yeah,
and
but we were shotgunning beers and chugging beers.
Wait,
that
did we
whole
talk about
episode.
this? This was in Vegas. We talked about.
Yeah, at
this?
the Airbnb.
yeah, it was at the Airbnb. That,
Nah, no, we didn't.
that's what. Yes,
Nope.
go watch the episode.
Don't remember. Don't remember it.
Don't remember. Didn't happen.
Yeah, it was at the Airbnb that you fucking crashed your car into.
Yeah, I remember us making fun of you a lot during the episode.
Yeah. You tend to
And
do that.
I remember us like derailing the hell out of it.
You also tend to do that.
If you want to hear a podcast where we derail the
Me?
hell out of Austin, listen to this new blackmail episode. It's nothing but Greg and me riding around on a scooter, shouting at Austin.
Yeah,
to
screaming,
trip him up.
riding the
Shouting-
little rascal scooter.
Shouting obscenities at Austin.
Yeah, I think we said a lot of slurs in that episode.
Yeah, Greg
drunk.
was
We
dropping
did
every slur he could list. Actually,
That's not true.
He
So
definitely
join the
whispered-
$10 tier.
He
That's
definitely
not
whispered
true.
the F slur a couple of times under his breath in that recording.
Yeah.
Austin
definitely.
and Chandra just keep making stuff up.
I don't
Yeah,
think
so
that's true.
join the $10 tier on our Patreon, GorillaRadioshow.com/Patreon if you want to see that. But getting into it,
Ooh, that was a loud clap. You shouldn't do that into the microphone.
my bad. So someone mentioned after watching our Las Vegas episode, they said, "Didn't Jim Jones used to be a monkey salesman?" And I was like, "Huh?"
That's
Thought
a
he just bought
crazy
him.
piece of information to know about Jim Jones. I'm going to be real with you. There's
Yeah.
there's more relevant factoids. Hi, Greg. How you doing?
I just inhaled some water.
Greg's face is turning red.
So he turns red so quick. Like all you have to do
Coughing
is
like a little baby after one hit of the world's tiniest roach.
I
Perhaps?
honestly
Be
think if
scared.
Greg walked up a set of stairs, his whole face would turn beet red. I'm sure I've seen it happen.
That's so
That's
mean.
not
You can't
true.
say that.
I'm sure
It's
it's true.
very mean spirited.
It'd
Anyway,
take at least two.
He knows it's true. It's not mean if it's true.
so
It would be at least two, I think. before
So
that
Jim
happened.
Jones actually did used to be a door-to-door monkey salesman.
Good for
Before the whole cult suicide thing.
He's absolutely just like me.
Yeah, you're always doing both of those things.
Yeah, how's the cult suicide thing coming along, Greg?
It's pending. Patreon. Come on.
Yeah.
I mean, you guys. I think I could convince at least Austin to kill himself.
I don't know if that's the definition of a cult specifically.
Yeah, you're just making one guy kill
That's called
himself.
harassment.
That's called targeted harassment.
Yeah.
Nah. Think about it.
Probably a assisted like murder. I don't know. Probably a murder charge.
I don't think
Manslaughter?
so.
Manslaughter
No,
potentially.
think about it. I filed the LLC, so he's technically in my podcast.
So this claim, the initial source I found for it was someone in Ask Historians, the subreddit, with the flair People's Temple in Jonestown, meaning
Great things to be an expert in.
this is an expert on Jim Jones and his little cult suicide.
I'm
From
on
Cordis
r/ cult suicide,
Yeah.
scaring all the hoes.
I don't think you trust
From Cordis
Yeah.
_Mellum,
my.
they say, "Yep, he sold
suicide. Sorry,
Not
I just had to guess that bit.
He said, or they said, "Yep, he sold monkeys." From Raven, The
Yup.
Calling, page 46 in my 1982 hardcover first edition. Had to flex that. Thank you, Reddit.
I've got a hardcover first edition.
Quote.
Hey.
Hey.
He would need money first. However, before establishing an integrated church in Indianapolis,
Good for him.
Jones always needed more money. Not only because of his grand plans, but also because he had dreaded poverty and insolvency since childhood. Just like me.
That's what they call it. That's what
On
they're
his-
calling it.
On his self-made treadmill, he preached
What?
at least 2 days a week.
And that's
and
what they're
worked
saying.
No. On his self-made treadmill, he preached at least 2 days a week and worked various jobs. He even imported little monkeys from South America and sold them door to door for $29
See,
each.
back in the day, you had to have a real side hustle. You couldn't just get on Instagram and sell like
Drop
body,
shipped
like,
band tees.
yeah, like body tea, whatever that shit was called. You had to
couldn't
go
sell,
get a
like
real
gift
hustle.
boxes.
Yeah, you had to import little monkeys from South
You
America.
had to import monkeys from South America if you were on your shit.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, but he was selling them for $29 a pop. What was he importing monkeys for? Like 50 cents?
Hey, they're monkeys.
I believe that gets elaborated on later if you'll be patient with me.
I've literally never been patient with you in my life.
True.
fair enough.
Greg is very impatient.
I got
Unless
it on
he's
me.
at the blackjack table. Then that motherfucker.
That he's patient enough to lose it all.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't really lose it all, did I? I was the only person who did not lose money in Las Vegas.
No.
Yeah.
Out of us three, yeah.
Out of us three.
But we had a couple jackpots.
Yeah, but nothing like Austin, who decided to fly a little too close to the sun, like fucking Icarus, and went up huge day one, and then we never saw him win. Nobody else was there. It was just
I didn't
him.
win a single time. I think I hit
Okay,
like
Greg, you're also talking about being Icarus. You were up 500. Is that not correct?
No,
and then you broke even.
Or
No,
you up
Yeah, you were
300?
up
No.
500.
no, I was never up. I was only even. I only ever broke even.
That is no, that's
Oh,
not
I'm sorry.
true.
I went
You-
up 100 day the first day.
No,
when I
you were
broke
at the
even.
table. You said I'm up 500. You specifically
Oh,
said
well,
that.
yeah, I lost that all at one time, but that's not a day.
Yeah, well, what do you mean? You're calling me Icarus.
We were still even on the whole thing, unlike you, who knew when to stop.
Well, so
Keep gambling, you'll win it all back.
It's true.
Never stop gambling.
So Jim Jones rode his bicycle around Southside Indianapolis with a cage full of monkeys, and he was such a comical sight that kids threw rocks at him.
He's such a comical sight. Kids threw rocks at him. Okay, if I were a kid and I saw a dude driving a little bicycle around with monkeys, I would be throwing rocks at him too.
I'd be
These
throwing
kids have the right
bricks.
idea. Bricks? I would drop one from
Was
like on top of a building in a comical fashion.
It's awesome that everyone in America in the 1970s was just so like lead poisoned that kids would just like pelt each other in the head with rocks.
Was this even 1970?
Oh, sorry.
This is 1954.
Yeah, this is 1954. That's my
Yeah,
bad.
this is way early. Yeah, these kids
Yeah.
had
Americans
these
have always
kids were,
been
like,
psychopaths.
This was lead poisoning.
That's
You know?
true. We always have been, but we've
This
always
is the
been the
lead
best at
poisoning
it.
nation.
This is whatever that shit was in.
This is what Jay Sakai was talking
Yeah,
about in
this is
Settlers.
leaded
It's the lead
gasoline. This is
poison.
everything. You know. This was uranium.
this was fucking
These kids
uranium.
were-
This
These
is
were
this is
irradiated.
this is in the age of open air nuclear tests,
Yeah.
So with
which
his
we should bring
lip-
back.
Yeah, well,
We should
no.
go back.
Mhm. Yes, we
Start
should. We should bring
irradiating
back.
civilian populations again.
Shouldn't do that. So, with his glib solicitations and cute merchandise, he often got his foot in the door. Some of these who listened to his monkey business pitch started attending his services. Jim had already learned to economize on his actions.
You know,
The
I really
monkeys-
do. Sorry to keep interrupting you.
Yeah, sorry.
But you know, I think we could really
You better be sorry.
capitalize on selling monkeys if we became super unethical. Like we have a
Oh, we could absolutely do it.
like
We could do
we
it.
could pivot a
If
little
we were
bit.
unethical,
I don't
yeah.
even think it would be hard. I
Erase
think we-
all of our episodes where we say owning a pet monkey is bad, right?
Exactly, right? We can still be crusaders for like pet rights and like, you know, not
We
pet
don't
rights,
even
like
have
animal
to be.
rights.
We don't even have to be.
But like we
No,
can
we
also
don't
be
have to do
like, it's actually good to own a monkey. They need safe homes. They're in
They
danger.
hate
do.
the jungle.
They
They hate
do.
it in
They
there.
hate it.
It's
They hate it
scary
there.
and dark and
They're
wet.
social animals. They can be a part of human society.
They
You
need,
just need to
a
accept
credit
them.
card. You need
They
to give a
need
monkey
a
a credit
credit
card.
card.
If
They
you
need
want to
access to an
preserve these
iPad,
populations,
Roblox,
give
and a
them
credit
an
card.
iPad and a credit card. And these monkeys, their population will be booming.
So, the monkeys brought unexpected and probably unwelcomed publicity. Yeah, I'm not sure what that means.
They were our problematic saves.
So, on April 10th, 1954, the Indianapolis Star ran a front page story about the bureaucratic flap precipitated by young Jones's refusal to claim an air shipment of monkeys because many were sick or had died en route. Which, hold on. I think it does elaborate on that later, but not in the Reddit post. The Reddit post goes on to say, the
Well, would you
newspaper-
like to go ahead and jump ahead to elaborating on that?
Yeah,
Well,
please.
well,
Because I want. Okay,
Okay,
you want
fine.
to because I want to hear about these dead fucking monkeys.
Me too.
Okay, I will. But let's just do it chronologically. The Reddit post
Okay, okay.
continues. The newspaper article is also mentioned in The Road to Jonestown, a church where you get something now. Page 70 in my 2016 hardcover first edition.
God,
gonna keep
love-
saying
Loves
that,
talking
huh?
about his hardcover first
Yeah,
edition.
He
he
keeps
probably
saying
posts
that.
pictures of his like bookcases, his bookshelves, and calls it his
You know,
library.
like he's
you know,
whenever he gets like
Absolutely.
a soft like a paperback, he's always like making sure to crease all the spines just so
oh,
everyone knows he's been
very
reading that shit.
yeah. He's making sure you know he's opened up every single book on there.
Absolutely.
The book says it cost money to rent the storefront, and the meager offerings Jones collected on Sundays from his impoverished followers weren't enough.
Damn, calling them broke and
Yeah.
ugly.
Yeah.
I mean, why do you think he took him to, where'd they go? Suriname? Guinea?
Give me, where was
I
it?
can't remember exactly, but
Equatorial Guinea? No, that's in Africa.
it might be
One of
No,
the
I
Guineas.
think
It was one of the Guineas. It was
I
one of the
think so.
Guineas.
So Marceline's salary from her full-time job, I'm not sure.
Or it was Guyana.
Guyana.
Oh, okay. barely covered essentials for Jones's immediate family. So Jones worked too, selling spider monkeys door to door for $29 each. So we have
Spider
collaboration.
monkeys too.
It was spider monkeys.
Oh,
That's a crazy big monkey to sell for $29.
right.
It's kind of big, honestly.
But
They bite and
$29 in
grab
the
shit.
50s, like
Look
milk
up,
costs.
pull up
like,
the inflation calculator.
Yeah.
How much was $29 worth in like 1954?
Someone, Jamie, run the calculations on that real quick.
I'm not Jamie. Don't call me.
We
that
gotta
shit.
get a Jamie. We gotta get a Jamie.
You gotta get a Jamie.
If you want to be our Jamie,
$375.
That's still like not a lot of money for a monkey.
I mean, that's like a fair amount. I wouldn't pay more than that for a monkey.
That's about that's
Pay
like
$2,000 for like a regular dog.
But those are insane.
No, but
people.
like a
Those
regular
are just
dog.
white people. You're just explaining white
But
people.
I think you're overestimating how much that industry has been built up in the past like 20 years, like the dog breeding industry, like all that shit. Like I feel like buying any pet in the 50s, no, you're not spending anything. You're not spending $400 on that shit. The only thing you're spending on is like some weird exotic shit. But also
You were buying like oils and spices and all sorts of lamps in the 50s.
door-to-door salesmen are coming to my home all the time and bothering my family, selling their oils and spices.
Oils and spices
spider
and
monkeys.
vacuums.
So many cases of this. So the Reddit post ends by saying, I remember a claim about how one of the early members of the church joined after Jones came by their home selling a monkey, but their name isn't coming to mind, so please take this claim with a grain of salt. Which is a weird thing to say because I'm pretty sure he also mentions it in the thing he quoted. But anyways, so me personally, I went ahead and looked into that last claim. Turns out it's true. From Jonestown, 25 years later, published by SF Gate. I'm not sure.
SF Gate?
San Francisco Gate?
Yeah, that's just a newspaper.
Probably.
Yeah, I think that's just the same.
They have
just
that
call
big
them
bridge
SF
over there
Gate.
called the Golden Gate Bridge. That's
Yeah,
probably where they got it from.
I know, but I'm just...
You could just call them SF Gate.
So, quote, Gene Cordell and his family began their association with the People's Temple on Easter Sunday 50 years ago.
Easter
His aunt
Sunday.
his Aunt Edith had just lost her pet monkey.
What?
One day, said Cordell's wife, June, she found the monkey that she'd bought had hung itself on his leash. She wanted another
What?
monkey.
That's
Which
awesome.
apparently many such cases, because I remember telling you, I also suspect this may have happened at that one really sketchy zoo I worked at when I was 20.
A monkey hung itself?
Well-
Refresh our memory.
Yeah, I'll refresh
Yeah,
your memory.
please.
I remember they had this monkey on a leash because they're crazy like that. And they put the monkey in the leash in a little enclosure. And the wife of the owner of the zoo came by. They don't own the zoo anymore, for the record. The wife of the owner of the zoo came by and said, "Oh, no, you need to get that leash out of there now, not after what happened."
What happened?
They never elaborated, so I figured, what if the monkey hung itself with a leash? Apparently, many such cases.
Many such
Many
cases.
such cases. Many such cases. What can you say?
Imagine the serendipity of your like mother's fucking or your aunt's pet monkey dying from hanging itself, and then
Death
Jim
by
Jones shows up to your door,
And it's
sells
like, I
you
got
a
a
monkey,
boy, do
and
I
then
have a monkey for
recruits you
you.
into a suicide cult.
Oh, I guess it didn't start as a suicide cult.
Not necessarily, but
If I
So-
killed myself because my aunt's monkey died, if that was the domino chain of events in my life, I guess you know what? I guess he already killed
Actually, that's
himself.
a fair ending. Yeah, that's a fair ending.
It's a fair ending. You already, you know what? Never mind.
It's kind of the
So,
ending you get in that case.
the article goes on to say that Jones was selling pet monkeys to raise money to start a church. He had placed an ad in the Indianapolis Star. Quote, so she went over and she bought him, a boy monkey and a girl monkey.
Aw.
Jimmy
way.
started telling her about his church. She comes back and she tells me I'm going with her on Easter morning, said June Cordell. Before long, the Cordells and other members of their family were mainstays of the church.
How many Cordells died?
I don't remember, actually. I mean, obviously they lived. If they lived, they got interviewed about it, actually. But
Only a few of them, at least.
Oh, the Cordells were interviewed by. Okay, so this is written by Don Latin, with 2 T's, and for SFJ.
And an
right?
X at the end?
Latinx,
Don Latinx.
Latinx.
So real.
Hey, Gial. What are you Latin tinksing about?
So
That wasn't anything.
Was that nothing?
Speaking of saying things like that, y'all hear the new Kendrick Lamar diss track?
I did.
yeah, it was kind of
It
funny.
kind of went crazy.
It was really funny. I was busting up laughing at this.
He's real close to saying that he's more Jewish than Drake.
That'd be really
crazy.
funny. Please, God.
If this goes one more round, he's gonna be the blackest black Israelite to have ever.
Yep. really whooping Drake's ass about that shit.
Yeah.
So, with all that being said, I sort of, after typing that in, I zeroed in on the fact that Jim Jones placed an ad in the Indianapolis Star, and I remember we read a couple articles from the Indianapolis Star on the podcast.
This is some shit you'd get out of Indianapolis for sure.
Yeah, they don't really have much else going on. They got to start
nothing going on.
Entertained.
So I wanted to see what the Indianapolis Star had to say for themselves for platforming Jim Jones in this nature. You know?
Yeah.
It turns out they actually had an article from 2018 where they talked about Jim Jones and his legacy. Which, by the way, I feel
publicly apologized for Jim.
No,
Jones.
they didn't apologize for anything. But I think they have like tours of like, Jim Jones's house and shit. So this is actually a bit of a conflicting account compared to the Reddit post. It says the book cited. Excuse me. The book cited it in the Reddit post.
The book cited?
It says, it was at Somerset Methodist where Jones hatched his plan to import monkeys from Calcutta, India, and use them to raise funds, selling them as pets door to door for $29 each. We know that they're $29 at the very least.
We know that much. Also, India mentioned, shout out.
Yeah.
Do we have any geopolitical India bits for this weekend?
Nothing
really much going on there.
Well, lots of stuff.
I think the Maoists are going to kill another.
The Maoists killed that guy. Yeah,
they
killed the BJP guy.
They should do that like a dozen more times.
Yeah, they should just make that like a. They should make that like a weekly event. You know.
Yeah, I think they're going to do that.
You know how people in India are always talking about like, we have a festival every month because we don't want to get bored. They should just kill BJP members like every month just so they don't get bored. String them up, take them out, parade them around the town.
There you go. Now you're thinking.
So Jones credited the monkey strategy with helping grow his flock to about 300 persons, which is a crazy way to phrase that. But,
the monkey stratagem.
So the scheme unraveled when monkeys started arriving in Indianapolis dead.
Dun, dun, dun.
In April 1954, a shipment of 3 monkeys arrived. Only 1 was alive. A week later came a shipment of 7 monkeys. 3 were alive, and those just barely. Jones balked at paying an $89 air freight bill assessed on the original 7 monkeys and abandoned them in the customs warehouse here in the basement of the federal building.
He just left them in the federal building?
He just left them.
Just left dead, rotting monkeys in there?
That's what they're saying.
I'm not paying the 5.
He left them
I'm not
alive.
paying the 5.
He left them. There was like a bunch of monkeys he just let die in the building. He just let them starve in there. Like he could have saved them.
That's what they're saying, dog.
They're saying that Jim Jones killed a couple of monkeys. I can't believe he did this.
What are you gonna do about it?
So let's do some quick math. 29 times 7 is 203, and he paid an $89 air freight fee. So he was profiting about $120 per monkey shipment. I don't know what the percentages on that are, but like that's not bad, I think, probably.
Well, the bill is just for air freight. We don't know how much the actual monkeys he had to pay for. The monkeys definitely cost money. It's not just pay for shipping.
Was he breaking even on these fucking monkeys? That'd be crazy.
No, he's making a profit. He's raising funds, and he's saying it's successful. So he is making money off of selling monkeys.
Lied? What if he didn't want anyone to know?
He is a mass murderer. So you know what? We can't really take his word for we can't take it for granted. We have to actually believe he's a liar.
So. After Jim Jones abandoned the dying monkeys in the warehouse,
crazy
again. Fine.
Indianapolis Star reported, to the rescue came Assistant Customs Collector Eugene J. Ocon. Ocon sent an underling to buy bananas. He mixed the bananas with some brandy he'd confiscated and fed the concoction to the monkeys. An hour later, the 3 animals were able to sit up and chatter softly among themselves.
Dude, this is the kind of treatment we needed like every morning after in Vegas, you know? Like if we had some dude,
Banana
if, like,
brandy cocktail.
exactly.
That
If
would
like
fix
they,
me.
if room service every morning at 9:30 brought you a little banana brandy cocktail and just, you know, hand fed that shit to you to wake you up, you could gamble so much more and for so
You would
much
make so much
longer.
money, actually.
You would make so much money.
Because the only thing stopping you from making money gambling is your own inhibitions.
Your own inhibitions.
Feel the rain on your skin.
No one else can feel it for you. Only you can let it
in. No one else. No one else.
Two more funny things I wanted to note about this this Jim Jones article is that the Indianapolis Star referred to Jim Jones as an infamous Hoosier, which is a very funny understatement. Like, oh, that old rascal, that old infamous Hoosier,
that mass murderer,
that guy that killed all those guys. So,
who's the picture of this guy who looks kind of like George Santos?
That is Jim Jones, Chandra.
Jim Jones, you know what? Now that I think about it, he does kind of have a George Santos cunty vibe to him.
What was Jim Jones kind of cunty with it?
I hate to say it. I hate to admit it. I don't want to give him credit for it. But I would, if I were drunk, I would approach that guy while he was dragged.
Would you join his church?
At the bar, not to fuck, but to buy cocaine off of him. And then he would try.
Like he'd have something.
I'm in a loving relationship, Greg. I would never. And then he would try something a monkey instead, and ask me to join his flock. Which, you know what? I feel like there's a couple of drag queens out there with their own little thing going on, their side hustle. That is also
I don't know. Many flocks of drag queens.
Many flocks.
There's at least two of us.
The only reason I mention this is because I did just see I think Greg too saw all the pictures of George Santos and his drag persona again. He's back on Cameo.
George Santos is back in drag.
He's back in drag.
Oh,
he's just like
cool.
me.
This guy rocks.
Greg, you would rock drag. You should do.
I know
drag.
I would. I should.
You did it once for stream, right?
I did.
Gotta get that shit.
So
I like how we make all the straight boys do drag, but I'm just sitting here, never done drag before.
Well, it wouldn't count for you.
You don't need. Whoa.
It wouldn't.
Right? Because you're already transgender. It doesn't count. You're not allowed. That's
Austin,
how that works, right?
You are beyond canceled.
I'm kidding. For everyone at home, please don't tell the newspapers I said that.
He's only saying he's kidding because he didn't realize he would be canceled if he said that.
So
also I wanted to laugh so hard at that, but my chest still hurts so bad from dying in a mosh pit.
How's your blood clot, by the way?
I don't have a blood clot, thank God.
Oh yeah.
But
bad.
for people at home, part of my fucked up injury in Las Vegas was that my chest started hurting and it did not stop hurting for like 2 days straight in Las Vegas.
Like heart failure.
Like heart failure levels of hurting. And when I got back home, I like spent all day in the hospital. My first full day back home, I spent all of it in the hospital.
Sounds like a personal problem.
So yeah, no.
Well, I'm sorry you can't empathize with me, Greg.
I can't. I don't feel any for anyone ever.
It's very sad.
You should obliterate yourself from the earth.
So yeah, basically that picture of Jim Jones is just him looking kind of like George Santos, kind of gay with it. Holding
gay with it, yeah.
Holding two monkeys like by the throat, like hands fully enclosed around these monkeys' whole bodies. They're very clearly capuchins, they're very clearly macaques, I think.
Austin would say some shit like kind of gay with it.
They're very clear. I thought you meant the very clearly part. Like, oh yeah, he would say some gay ass shit. Like, they're very clearly macaques, actually.
No, they are definitely
monkey nerd.
They are definitely macaques. So I'm inclined to believe the Indianapolis Star that they were imported from India because that's where rhesus macaques are.
Yeah,
Calcutta. So I think people just thought every monkey was a spider monkey back then. To be honest with you.
So he was selling macaques and advertising the spider monkeys. That's so funny.
He was giving herpes to so many people. So
just like Greg for real.
Right after the image of Jim Jones, I want someone else to real time read and react to the finale to the J. Fred Muggs story from the book the article rather, The Ghosts of November, Chapter 8. No, I guess that is a book.
Here's the excerpt from The Ghosts of November. Wait until they opened this one in Dover. As I gazed upon the scene, Colonel Gordon, The gruff, no-nonsense Joint Task Force commander approached. Brayley, he barked as he returned my salute. Did y'all bring a psych tech with you from Panama? No, sir, I answered. Why? They were trying to put that dead gorilla into a body bag, he claimed. Jones had a huge chimpanzee he kept in a cage near his cottage. He called him Mr. Muggs. It was rumored that small children were placed in the cage with the old primate as a form of punishment.
Crazy.
That's insane.
So, real quick aside, basically, to give you some context, Colonel Gordon is the leader of a force, I guess a task force called GREG, GREGG.
Oh, would you look at that?
I believe that stands for GRREG. It's something about grave registration. I can't remember what the other letters stand for, but essentially this is an entire chapter dedicated to the people who had to clean up and ship back all the dead bodies from Jonestown. But the thing is, by the time they had got there, it had already been like quite a couple of days, and it's hot there. So they were like all rotting. Heads were falling off the necks, and it smelled like dog shit.
You're saying these motherfuckers were already soup by the time?
They were like half soup by the time they got there. So like to give you some context into the psyche of the people doing this, continue, Chandra.
All right. During my first tour of Jonestown a week earlier, I saw Mr. Muggs. He had been shot to death. That dead chimp smelled much worse than any of the human remains. Gordon went on. They kept trying to push that big gorilla's shoulders into the body bag, but they just couldn't get it zipped up. I watched them for a few minutes until one of them Graves registration guys was going to hack its shoulders off with the machete. That's the voice I feel like Fritz.
Yeah, I feel like that's
they're writing him as if he speaks like that.
Yeah.
Hold it, I commanded, said Colonel Gordon in a loud voice to replicate the one he was using in Jonestown. Why are you going to hack that gorilla up? Because he won't fit into the body bag, sir, came the respectful reply from the ringleader of the Practical Jokers. But why are you putting him in a body bag anyway? Came the exasperated question of the colonel. Why, sir? Why? Just wait until they open this one in Dover, was the devilish reply of the leering Greg soldier. Why would you do this, Greg?
Why did you do this, Greg? That's kind of
It's an excellent bit.
Gordon said he looked down at the group and said, Look, man, I don't mind you playing a joke on them folks up in Dover, but I won't let you mutilate that poor gorilla just to fit him into a body bag. Colonel Gordon said he watched the 4 Greg soldiers, an acronym for the Graves registration team, work for several more minutes trying to stuff Mr. Muggs into the bag. Then he walked away, shaking his head and believing Mr. Muggs was left behind in Jonestown. In the first edition of this book, written in 1998, I reported that Mr. Muggs was the only Jonestown resident who came to Guyana from the United States who remained in Guyana. I was wrong. The mortuary affairs specialist who opened a body bag at Dover that was occupied by a gorilla told me the truth after he read my book.
Because that's how they say it.
I can't. It's killing me.
It's spelled go-rilla.
So they used a dead chimpanzee to prank the coroner.
You know what?
Good bit. +2 or -2?
+2. Classic bit.
That's
a classic send-up. That's a classic workplace send-up.
You're opening all these like soup dead bodies, like disgusting
opening up body bags full of babies and children. Yeah.
You open this one and you're like, oh damn it, that boys and Greg got me again.
They got me.
So that was all the new information I could find regarding Jim Jones and Jonestown and all the monkey business. So I wanted to really quickly cover a factoid that viscerally upsets Greg, and that is that bonobos frot.
Hate that.
Now, for those of you who aren't familiar with frotting, I'll allow Chandra.
If you're not familiar with frotting, you need to get on that wave. You need to get on that wave. You need to whip that thing out. Find another partner to whip that thing out and just kind of go to town on one another. Woo! You can like helicopter it at each other. That's a great way to start. You know, it keeps it
Yup.
light.
That's how you
You know,
Sword
start.
fighting.
Yeah, you know, do a little sword fighting to start. You
Do
know,
akimbo wielding, you know.
yeah. Dual wield those dicks for sure.
So
I love how really quick. Yeah,
yeah.
Austin decided that we can't describe frotting with our own words. We need notes on
We need
it.
to do it to
And
each
he
other.
put in
And
this
also,
chat,
he did
he
put
put in
notes
these
in here.
notes
It's horrifying.
from the frotting Wikipedia page. Genital to genital rubbing has been observed between males of other animals as well. Among bonobos, frottage frequently occurs when two males hang from a tree limb and engage in penis fencing, more colloquially known as sword fighting. It also occurs while two males are in the missionary position.
So
Just getting a little hot and heavy.
we know that bonobos are fucking freaky with it. We know they be getting crazy.
They're comfortable having their dicks out.
I believe the frotting Wikipedia page at one point says not to be confused with tribbing.
Oh my god.
Wonderful.
Once again, bonobos, realest primates on Earth.
That's so embarrassing. I got frotting confused with tribbing. Oh my god. How come I'm so stupid?
So, but I noted anecdotally or like subjectively, I guess, considering what I know about chimpanzees and how I like heard about that chimp that like lowered herself onto another chimpanzee's face to make him like eat her pussy.
Real. That's all I need.
Like hanging from the monkey bars, lowered down slowly, just straight into it, right into business.
She knew what the fuck she wanted.
Don't
even need to think about it.
I think that frotting is something like evolutionary and inherent to great apes, probably. And I think that. I think chimpanzees probably rub that shit together, crazy style.
You know, listen, hey,
like they're trying to start a fire.
I was in the mosh pit, and I accessed a primal part of me that was just like, men should take their clothes off and rub their bodies against one another to bond with one. You know, I was like, that's what we're meant to do as animals. And maybe I'm just gay, but you know what?
Maybe I could be just gay.
I think a huge part of this.
I could just be a little bit of a faggot, but I want to strip my clothes off in the Las Vegas sun and throw my body at some men. See what happens.
On that note, in an article called Bonobo, Sex, and Society, written by Franz de Waal, rest in peace.
We love Franz
May
de Waal.
his memory be a blessing. In
Rip
2006,
Franz.
He had this to say on the phenomenon. Perhaps the bonobo's most typical sexual pattern, undocumented in any other primate, is genitogenital rubbing, or GG rubbing for short, between adult females. One female facing another clings with arms and legs to partner that, standing on both hands and feet, lifts her off the ground. The two females then rub their genital swellings laterally together, emitting grins and squeals that probably reflect orgasmic experiences.
Dude, I do this like all the time. You know, I love to rub my genital swellings laterally against another.
So, in parentheses, laboratory experiments on stump-tailed macaques have demonstrated that women are not the only female primates capable of physiological orgasm.
Oh, you know what? Even monkey girls can come. If your girlfriend isn't coming, that's your fucking fault.
It's your fault, and you have to die.
You should die.
Franz continues. Male bonobos, too, may engage in pseudocopulation, but generally perform a variation. Standing back to back, one male briefly rubs his scrotum against the buttocks of another. They also practice so-called penis fencing, in which two males hang face-to-face from a branch while rubbing their erect penises together. I like the idea that they have, like, bonobo foreplay. Like, just, like, rubbing the hole with that shit.
Slapping it around a little bit, you know?
Slapping it, spitting on it.
Hey, you need to be stopped.
It's not our fault Franz de Waal is writing such erotic research.
This is like a very strangely unerotic description of... probably because they're animals, actually. Yeah.
Emitting grins and squeals. That was a little crazy. Yeah, you can emit a squeal. You can
never been one to emit a grin.
Never been one to emit a grin.
So-
Insane. Insane.
Greg, I want
Continue.
you to read the rest of this, Greg. You've been quiet.
The diversity of erotic contacts in bonobos includes sporadic oral sex, massage of another individual's genitals, and intense tongue kissing. Lest this leave the impression of a pathologically oversexed species, I must add, based on hundreds of hours of watching bonobos, that their sexual activity is rather
I was in the
casual and
cuck chair for
relaxed.
hours,
It
dude.
I was reviewing hundreds of
natural.
hours of bonobo sex.
He's got a
Like
good
people,
cave of bonobo sex
bonobos
footage.
engage in sex only occasionally, not continuously. Furthermore, with the average copulation lasting 13 seconds, sexual contact in bonobos is rather quick by human standards.
These are just like
What do you
little
mean quick?
pecks
That's
on
not
the
quick.
cheek. Like, damn, they're going like 2-3 times as long as I usually do.
So one sentence Greg skipped, I think, was he says the sexual activity is rather casual and relaxed. It appears to be a completely natural part of their group life.
You know, same. I be having casual group sex all the time.
He goes on to say that one theory explaining this behavior was that excitement about food directly transfers into sexual excitement for bonobos, but explains that this isn't quite the case. I did a little finger waggle for everyone.
He
at
did
home.
do a little finger waggle. I can go.
Yeah.
First,
Yeah, go ahead.
anything, not just food, that arouses the interest of more than one bonobo at a time tends to result in sexual contact. If two bonobos approach a cardboard box thrown into their enclosure, they will briefly mount each other before playing with the box. Such situations lead to squabbles in most other species, but bonobos are quite tolerant, perhaps because they use sex to divert attention and to diffuse tension. Second, bonobo sex often occurs in aggressive contexts, totally unrelated to food. A jealous male might chase another away from a female, after which the two males reunite and engage in scrotal rubbing.
They're
Okay.
hate fucking.
Dude, sorry I took that, I'll next time I'll give it up. Next time it's all you, but here's a quick little reach around just to keep you going until next week.
What's up, big dog? What's up, big dog? Whip it out, whip it out.
What-
Rub it on my shit right now. Touch tits
Just
right now.
an insane
Pussy.
species of animal.
The same way that whenever you feel you need to dap up your friend, right? Like you arrive at the bar and you hit him up like, "What's up, big dog?"
We should start
Instead,
We should start
Just
just like
grab
coming
their
in each
dick
other.
next time. Yeah. What's
Just
up, big dog?
Full on
Real-
cum.
Real full swing. Grab that dick. Give it a couple of gentle massages, a few squeezes.
Okay.
Rub the
Okay.
thumb around a little bit. Like get in there. There's also this. I feel like I'm reading the first couple sentences of the sentence. The first couple words of the sentence. I think it's gonna be funny. Or after a female hits a juvenile. After a female hits a juvenile, the latter's mother may lunge at the aggressor, an action that is immediately followed by genital rubbing between the two adults. So literally, and they just be fucking.
Oh, dude, I gotta jerk off about this.
For any reason whatsoever.
They just hey, I'm sorry about that. Let me tickle you there for a little bit. Let me tickle you real quick. I'll put one finger inside.
Just a finger. So I want to point out that it is also a commonly observed behavior in chimpanzees to when they are reconciling. For example, at the chimpanzee sanctuary, I'm always talking about this. It's insane, how much shit I witnessed there. But
Yeah, it was evil, maybe.
after a sick chimpanzee was separated from the group for a little bit, because if you don't separate them when they're really sick, then the other chimps might just kill it because it's too weak or something.
Yeah, fucking loser, get out of here.
Fucking loser.
Coffin ass motherfucker.
So once he was introduced, this is a very common thing. The next most high-ranking male basically ran up and they mounted each other real quick, gave each other a little hump, little insertion real quick, and then went on their way. And that was sort of how they reconciled.
A quick little insertion.
Yeah, just a quick little insertion, a single stroke.
Just one nice stroke, just
Single stroke.
relieve the
A
tension.
little something. Just a little something.
This is what they mean by single stroke engine.
Which is like, again, I think anecdotally, a lot of people will reinforce this, I think, but bonobos and chimpanzees aren't quite as drastically, like diametrically opposed as you might think. The more and more I learn about primates in my master's program, the more I have to read literature, the more I find out that there's like barely any difference between anything.
Yeah.
There's no difference between anything. I just got back so many comments on my thesis proposal from like an actual PhD professor, and she was tearing into me, like holding no bars, like really letting me have that constructive criticism, even though it was a little mean sometimes. And like there were multiple points where I used the word unique, and she like eventually she just like highlighted it and said, "Stop using this word." Or something.
Yeah.
It was something along those lines.
Yeah, you idiot. They're all the same. What are you talking about?
She was like, and she like pointed out some examples. She was like, for example, you say that, red ruffed lemurs are really good fruit dispersers. Don't say that around brown lemur people, or else they'll get really mad. Brown lemurs are considered the keystone seed disperser in Madagascar. Don't want to step on any toes in the brown lemur community.
Dude, they got shooters on
They
here.
got fucking shooters.
They got shooters. Don't piss off the brown lemur lobby. It's dangerous work. It's
crazy
dangerous
shit.
work.
But yeah, no. For like so many points, she would just like find another source that was like, well, this source says that's not true. And I'd be like, fuck, dude. What do you want me to do? Fuck.
Well, if there's a source that says it's not true, then you got to refute the source. You got to refute their point. You got to refute their.
They don't
you
let me
gotta-
refute things.
Oh, can you not refute?
I mean, I could, but I would need to make a really good argument. Otherwise, they'd be like, shut the fuck up. I'm going to kill you. I'm going to forward this to the guy who wrote that article, and I'm going to make him kill you.
Isn't that the point of academia though?
Maybe.
to cite.
Look,
and have a
primatologists,
conversation.
I'm noticing, not even just primatologists, maybe anthropologists or academics in general, have just crazy beef. Like, someone like said,
It's because they sit around writing notes on each other's papers like that all the time.
yeah, like they get one too many negative notes, and they're like, all right, you ain't so special. I can do this to you too. Sit on one too many review committees, and you got a target painted on your back. Oh yeah, but there's Dr. John Marks at UNC Charlotte is apparently pretty infamous because he's a bit of a troublemaker. He wrote a book titled "Is Science Racist?" I think, and so like everyone thinks he's like obnoxious liberal woke fucker or something. I don't know. So like people will often be like, "Oh, you gotta work with Dr. Marks. Tough break." And it's just like, how did this many people know this guy? He actually was in a book I read recently. He was being interviewed by the author. It was in Inferior, the book Inferior. I forgot what the subtitle is, but it's about like the resurgence of race science, and
That's what they're saying.
I'm pretty sure he talks in the book, or maybe this was like in person. He talks about he was added to an email thread with a bunch of other people, and like there were a couple of like this was like back when email threads were still a thing. Which,
oh, okay.
Quick side note: I joined like
I feel like they're still a thing in academia. These people.
They are. I joined an academic society to apply for a grant, and I've been getting tagged in so many goddamn like every night at midnight. It'll give me an update on the goddamn like forum posts that these grown men are slinging at each other. Like, in regards to your last comment, it's like, get me out of here. I don't want to be here. Get me out.
I don't care. Yeah, I'm a young man with hobbies and interests. I don't need to go down this path.
So Dr. Marks said he was in a email thread with Francis Fukuyama, the end of history guy, and I was like, what? Did you talk to him? Did you make fun of him? Did you guys ever like send news articles and be like, hey, look, Francis, history? But no, he never interacted with
Hey, look, Francis, history.
Hey, look, Francis, history. So
Is that what you would say to him?
Yeah, I would. I love that screenshot of his Twitter where he's like quote tweeting a story of like, I think it's like Russia invading Ukraine, and he just said, "For real?" I swear to God, I don't know if that was like
That can't be real, but that's
if
so
I'm
funny.
hallucinating
He's the original Nothing Ever Happens guy.
Yeah,
he
what I was
is.
saying, the
He's
original Nothing Ever
literally
Happens.
the nothing. He was right. History has kind of proven him right.
I mean, yeah, nothing has happened.
The Ayatollah reportedly forgot to factor in the fact that nothing ever happens.
Nothing ever happens.
Failed to consider that nothing ever happens.
I like how we started at the beginning of this podcast, like, wow, I'm so inspired by the student movement to bring attention to the genocide in Gaza. At the end of it, nothing ever happens, vlog.
Bro, nothing has ever occurred.
Oh yeah, no, the encampment at UNC Charlotte is actually getting like really big. It's gotten to the point where
noticed.
I'm hearing, yeah.
I hope you know
people
we've
have-
got our own sign in Gaza now.
Yeah. Oh shit, for real? That's awesome. We
Yeah,
got
when
on
they
the
did
front page
the-
of Al Jazeera too.
When the kids in Gaza made those signs saying thank you to the different universities, UNC Charlotte's on there.
Can you send that to me? I need to send that to someone.
I did, dude. I saw it for 2 seconds, and then Twitter did that thing where it refreshes and you lose it.
I know. I hate that shit.
That hasn't happened to me in so long. Actually, you know what? Twitter for me hasn't changed, except for the fact that there's bots on there all the time now that are attacking me and assailing my psyche. The only thing that's different about Twitter these days for me is that it doesn't randomly refresh when I don't want it to. So I gotta hand it to Elon.
That's the one thing it does to me all the time.
I'm
I
so
hate to
sick
see
of it.
that.
There was like an ad for like it was just like gay yaoi manga, and I was like, oh, I gotta screenshot that. That's funny as fuck. And
Wait a
then
minute,
it just
I've never
slipped
gotten
through
an
my
ad like
fingers
that.
like grains of sand.
I've never gotten an ad like that, my brother.
You haven't? That's crazy.
Targeted ass ads. Faggot.
So there's one more little paragraph thing to conclude.
Are we allowed to say slurs on this podcast?
It's fine. I don't care.
I've been saying it for a long time, but we're tagged as explicit.
Look,
the kids
we've
know not to
only
listen.
gotten taken down for hate speech on YouTube on one episode.
We've been taken down on hate. Oh
Yeah, they made me
What did
do
we
a
say?
quiz on like hate speech. They made me do a struggle session.
They got quizzes for that?
The YouTube struggle session.
They would not tell me why it was flagged. I was like, please tell me why this was flagged. I don't understand. And they're like, nope, you did a hate crime. Sorry.
Yeah, you
So,
hate gays, don't you? You know, speaking of the encampments, my friend up at Chapel Hill just got arrested yesterday.
yeah.
Yeah, are they good?
Yeah, they're good. I think they got suspended.
Yeah, they're doing that.
Is it
Chapel Hill
permanent or
is-
just for the semester because it's the end of the semester?
So, he doesn't know yet. He doesn't know. It's he just has suspended. He doesn't know if it's for the rest of the semester or for next semester too. But all students at Chapel Hill who were detained or arrested have been suspended.
At least there hasn't been any expulsions to my knowledge. Well, no, there has. There definitely has.
Columbia.
There
is
definitely
Columbia.
has been.
people.
I mean, Columbia also has like police helicopters and snipers shooting at them. So I don't.
honestly,
Yeah, they've
what
got
I'm
the
surprised
fucking-
about
New
is that
York is a
nobody's been-
fucking fascist.
I'm surprised nobody's been killed.
I'm genuinely like, did you see the Zionists throwing like live fireworks into the encampment? That's crazy.
Yeah, that was at UCLA.
They also threw. Oh yeah, that was UCLA. They also threw a backpack full of diseased, injected mice into the encampment,
What the
which is
fuck?
like crazy to do.
Genocidal.
I don't
They're
think-
literally
they keep doing
genocidal
the-
freaks.
Oh, look out! Here come the good guys with their backpacks of diseased mice doing biological warfare. The good guys.
They keep doing medieval genocidal warfare shit. dude.
Literally, they don't know. They don't know anything else. It's ingrained into their.
Yeah, all they know
brain.
is kill civilians. They're really good at it.
Yeah. So, back to what I was saying. To finish off this Franz de Waal article, he says, not that this function is absent in other animals, or in humans for that matter,
That function being genital,
being sexual reconciliation.
Yeah.
He says, the art of sexual reconciliation may well have reached its evolutionary peak in the bonobo. For these animals,
Let's go.
sexual behavior is indistinguishable from social behavior. Given its peacemaking and appeasement functions, it's not surprising that sex among bonobos occurs in so many different partner combinations, including between juveniles and adults.
Wow, we gotta cancel the bonobo.
We gotta
I can't
cancel
believe
it.
it.
They're
That's all I'm
English.
saying.
Age
Very,
gap,
very toxic
genital
age
rubbing?
gaps.
We
Yeah.
cannot be doing this.
The need for peaceful coexistence is obviously not restricted to adult heterosexual pairs. He could have... See, okay, my one problem with this article is that he definitely could have said, like, I don't know, like female-female pairings and not juvenile and adults to say relationships other than adult heterosexual pairs. That's
Hey, he just wants you to know before you give the bonobos too much credit. They are doing some
They
problematic
are
shit.
pedophiles.
Before you hand it to the bonobos, you gotta
You
keep
need
in
to know
mind-
this. You need to know this.
Oh yeah,
Austin did right. My man down here, right underneath.
No, wait, no, I didn't mean
juvenile-
that. I didn't mean that. I did not mean it in reference to that.
Oz is promoting and sponsoring pedophilia on
That
the
is
podcast.
not what I meant.
Officially,
That is not what I meant.
sanctioning the partner combinations between juveniles and adults. Austin?
That is not true. I will say though, that reminds me, in my podcast notes in my notes app on my iPhone that I don't use anymore, I have a couple of notes written down here that are more like hastily scribbled notes in a horror game. I have here Planet of the Apes, chimp penis regeneration, Scopes monkey trial, Greg blown back by pussy stank hairline,
Okay.
Alan
Okay.
Dershowitz bonobo. There's a joke there, but I couldn't finish it.
Why
Because
couldn't
you're
you
not
finish
allowed to
that
finish it,
joke?
or you
No,
couldn't
just because
come
I
up with a
couldn't find.
punchline?
I've
You just
never,
couldn't think of a good punchline.
I've never
for that?
found a good way to fit it into an episode to call Alan Dershowitz.
How long have you
bonobo.
had that note sitting around?
I don't know. I just remembered it though. Bonobo. Do you think there's a bonobo Alan Dershowitz? And he's like, he's got a little briefcase, and he's like,
I think you should be pulled apart and studied by science.
yeah, I think so, probably.
They would love your brain in the lab. They would be doing so. They would be like testing it with weird solutions, seeing how it reacts.
Yeah,
They'd be running electrical.
They'd be like,
current
this
through
guy's
it.
got the brain of a woman.
Wow, we've actually identified where sex exists. It's in the brain.
Wow, it's impossible in everyone else except for this guy specifically. That's
It
crazy.
says it's right here in their brain.
It literally has a
confused
big
gender
like
identity?
female gender sign just scratched right.
It's like somebody
in the
branded
goddamn
female trait right on the back of his brain.
brain. Looks like it's etched in with like a carving pen or something. Etching pen, rather.
Etch a sketch.
Yeah.
No, that. Anyway, is that everything? For
Anyway, I'm
this
gonna
episode?
go ahead and click quit spore now so I can focus.
Oh
On the
yeah.
podcast we just finished.
Yeah. Thanks, man. Thanks for
we got-
locking in the last 30 seconds of the podcast, brother.
Well, guys, it's official.
Yeah. What is?
My throat hurts. It's hard to talk. Can you do the podcast announcement thing?
Yeah. Oh yeah. I don't remember if we talked about this.
Not in any capacity of even mild maturity. So
Yeah. So Greg and Chandran are betraying me like Brutus.
Yeah,
my season.
we're not Brutusing.
They're
Austin.
Brutusing
we're
me.
Brutusing him. I'm Brutusing him. I'm gonna stab him.
Greg
stab him with
wants
something.
to do a fun little side history podcast with Villani.
Wow, I like. Hey, this is Greg's fun little side project. It's like whatever,
The side
It's
gig.
Austin's really minimizing me right now.
Well,
Literally.
how regular are you planning on doing this?
Probably once or twice a month.
Huh? I mean, if you
Anyway.
look, brother, if you have time for that shit, that's great.
The real
It's
announcement
gonna be
here,
it's gonna be more scripted.
which
so.
I think
Okay.
we've said probably publicly a few times now, but here it is. Welcome to Guerrilla Radio Network, people.
Oh,
We are
God.
going to be launching.
the Guerrilla Radio Podcast Network.
Yeah.
Folks, we have sold out.
And by sold out, we mean that we're going to buckle down and we're going to try and create more content with all of these wonderful people that we've met and that we've created. a really
Only
great-
accessible through our exclusive streaming platform, Banana Plus.
Nah, but for real, we are going to be making some additional content for you guys.
Yeah. We can't
Chandra's
just
gonna
talk
do a
about monkeys,
podcast
bro.
on their passions. I'm going to do a podcast on some of my passions.
Yeah.
We're going to get some good guests. It's going to be different structures. It'll be a little different. You'll get serious podcasting out of me. I'll actually utilize this degree I have.
Mm-hmm. Can you go ahead and tell us about this podcast you've got set up, Greg? What are you doing? for us?
History.
So it's going to be kind of set up like Connections, which is an old TV show that I can't remember who hosted it. Delani knows. But so
Okay.
what we're going to do is we're going to be covering major historical events and then connecting them to our modern day world, the things that this happened, and so this is why the world sucks. So little teaser for you guys. Our first episode is probably going to be on the Sykes-Picot Agreement, which divided up the Middle East into the states you see today. And we will talk about the history of that and why it happened, and then why everything is so fucked now.
And by we, you of course mean you and Villani, who, if you've listened to one of our Monkey Movie episodes,
which you should subscribe.
You should be. You should be on the Patreon listening to those Monkey Movie Mania episodes. We've covered all of Planet of the Apes, the original series, and
almost. We still got to do our retrospective on the new series.
We got to do that.
But yeah, so be on the lookout for that. We are going to skip a couple steps. I think Chandran probably will wind up doing that too. We're going to skip a couple steps in creating a podcast. In that, the first few episodes, we'll find a way to get to you guys here so that you can all see them and maybe give us a little early boosted listenership.
Yeah, it will be a part of the main feed.
Oh, yeah.
And then we will be setting up some additional Patreons, obviously, if we're going to have Vil on the pod. Got to pay Vil too. So, be on the lookout for maybe a new Patreon. We're still working on that. But at least the first few episodes of both my show and Chandran's show will probably show up on the Gorilla Radio Show feed for you guys so that
just letting you know, if you let either of the side podcasts get bigger than Gorilla Radio Show, I'm killing myself on Twitch.
Hey, that's just gonna make us even more famous.
I'm gonna start doing Aiden Ross type streams.
yeah. So Chandran, what's yours gonna be about again? Or do you not know yet?
I'm not. Me and Kim will probably be doing a culture podcast.
Gossip.
Maybe. We gotta iron out details and stuff. Greg, I think if you are looking forward to more podcasts from us, you should be really looking forward to Greg and Bill's history podcast. That's a sure thing. I'm sure the first episode will be coming out soon-ish. No promises.
Probably actually the next few weeks.
Exactly.
We're gonna work on a script this week, and then we've been doing this for a really long time, so I think we are all really comfortable behind the mic. Gotta see if Vil needs anything and how our sound setup works. And then I have to actually edit a podcast again.
Ooh, yeah, you're fucked. You're fucked.
We still got to think of a name.
Put your suggestions for their little.
Yeah, DM Greg on Twitter.
Yeah.
Follow me on Twitter.
Follow
at G_Mateo too. Follow me on Twitter, and then be on the lookout for maybe a new Twitter account affiliated with the Gorilla Radio Show Podcast Network.
Woo! Anyway, I know that was a lot of advertising, but we still have more things to tell you. We're streaming almost every day on the Twitch.
We're hitting that shit raw.
We're hitting that shit raw from the back.
We're so back, folks.
We're bouncing on it, spitting on it.
Oh yeah,
a little bit.
My legs behind my ears on it.
And this is gonna be a big month for both the main feed and the Patreon. So if you're not in the Patreon yet, get in there. I think that's all we have for you.
Yeah,
I think so.
I will say it is kind of funny.
You ruined it.
Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was gonna say, I'm pretty sure you joked about us going to Vegas and then coming back and acting really distant, as if something happened there. It would be very funny to interpret this as like the pod.
We broke the pod up.
Slowly trying to.
We're all doing solo work.
We're all
putting out our solo albums.
Yeah.
Don't worry, folks. Gorilla Radio Show is going nowhere. Probably ever. We will just do this.
Yeah, we're locked in until we die. I think
we're locked in until we run out of
very.
Literally, we're gonna get $100 a month for the next 30 years, and it will never be too little money for us to be like, we shouldn't do this. We're always going to be so desperate for $100 a month.
Look, $100 a month is $100 a month.
Yeah, we will always be doing this, so don't worry about that. We're just looking to maybe get our bread up,
You could fuck Austin every month for $100 a month.
You could fuck Austin.
Because he's willing to put up
$50
with
a month.
That's what it sounded like he said. $100 is $100 what he said.
But yeah, so if you're tired of hearing about monkeys, which weird that you got this
You
far.
shouldn't be.
Weird that you got this
my white ass doing yet another Chapo Trap House ripoff.
I'm going to do a Red Scare ripoff.
Yeah, you
should. No, please God, don't.
I'm going to learn how to do vocal fry.
You and Kim should start practicing your vocal fry right now.
You should do like a ripoff of Call Her Daddy. That would make way more sense.
That was where the podcast I brought up specifically, like, hey, we got to be careful we don't become Call Her Daddy.
You gotta call it something fun, like culture
Call
Converse
Zaddy.
with 2 Ks.
Call them Zaddy.
Call them Zaddy.
Okay, everybody, bye bye.
That's a good one.
We'll catch
Wait,
you in a
could call
couple
it
weeks.
pronouns in bio.
No.
Cut
No?
that one out. Yeah, don't let that
Cut
one.
that one out.
Bye.
I thought I had something there, and I was not cooking. It's okay. It happens.
I may be a white boy, but I'm not stupid.